So as you all know, all three of you know, um, the the administration has instituted a satisfactory, unsatisfactory option for graduate students to take just this semester. So I'm just going to go through that. I'm going to go through some different scenarios of why you might want to do this or why you might not want to do this. And then I'll ask you for any questions. So hopefully you can all see that presentation. Can you see that presentation, Juanetta?
Yeah, it's just showing, yeah.
It's like a PowerPoint slide. Yeah. Okay. And we'll just go through this, and then I will, Brenda and I are both here to answer any questions that you might have. Hopefully we'll have the answers. If not, we'll get the answers for you. So just bear with me because it's not letting me move the slide. So I am going to move the slide here. Okay, so you guys can see this slide. What the administration has done is it's actually offering this option for you to convert your winter grades to either a satisfactory or unsatisfactory, right? So you'll be assigned a letter grade. As usual, you get your letter grade based on whatever, your instructor's criteria was. And you'll be able to opt in for a satisfactory or unsatisfactory grade instead of the letter grade if you so desire. This is important. A B will be considered satisfactory, and a B minus or less will be considered unsatisfactory. That's not the grade that we don't get to set that grade as a department. That's the grade that's been set for University of Michigan Flint. And that becomes important when you make that decision. If you have a B minus grade, it's going to become important which decision you want to take. And I'll talk about that just a couple slides from now, right? If you take the satisfactory, unsatisfactory, it will not affect your GPA. So either one of those grades will not be averaged into your GPA, where normally an unsatisfactory would be averaged in as a E grade or a 0-point grade. You'll receive credit for a satisfactory. So if it's a 3-credit course, you get 3 credits, 4-credit course, you get 4 credits, so on and so forth. And if you receive an unsatisfactory, you will receive no credit and have to retake that course, but it won't bring your GPA down, right? This option can be used for any or all of your winter courses. You're the one who gets to choose which course you opt to take, unsatisfactory or satisfactory, or you don't have to take it for any, right? If you're getting all A's, then I don't see why you would take this, right? And there are a few exclusions, right? And if there are exclusions in the classes you're taking, that class just won't show up on the opt-in screen. And the opt-in screen is available right now. Although all of the MPH level, the graduate level, HCR, HED, and PHS courses are included in the opt-out. So if this only is like worrisome for you if you're taking a class in biology or somewhere else. And I think that for most of you, if not all of you, that's not the case. So all of your classes should be, you should be able to opt in or opt out for any of your classes, right? And I have that note down. That's really important to note that a B minus is going to be considered unsatisfactory if you decide to opt in, right? So you also in our program need to have a B minus in a course for it to count to for the program. So you want to take that into consideration when making your decision. And I'll talk a little bit about making the decision in a couple slides. I don't know if Brenda has anything to add to this slide. We'll move on to the next.
Not yet. Doing great.
Okay. She's keeping me honest here. Okay, so the next slide, hopefully you can see that. You will receive your letter grade before you have to choose. You can choose right now because you can go, the process is currently available, but you don't have to choose right now, right? You can change your choices. If you make a choice now, you can change your choices up until midnight, April 30th. If you decide not to make a choice right now, you can make your choices between May 1st and May 8th. But once you make that decision, it's going to be final, right? So if you decide to go in there on May 1st or May 4th, just make sure that you're doing what you want to do, because once you do it, it's set in stone and that's it, right? And you're going to do this on the SIS system. If I have any military veterans, I don't know about you three, but or if I actually post this recording, military veterans should contact the Student Veterans Resource Center before they choose this, because this may not, but it could affect some of the benefits that they receive. All right. Next slide. So what are the benefits and considerations and suggestions that we're going to give you on taking this? Like, why would you want to do this, right? So I have some examples here. So for the first one is, if you're earning lower than a B grade, you're going to receive a U, right? So the benefit to this is that this grade won't be factored into GPA, and it won't lower it. But there's some considerations. If you do choose a U grade, you'll need to retake the course, and your tuition will not be refunded, right? So you'll have to retake the course. If you earn a B- letter grade, consider keeping the grade, because if you choose a satisfactory, unsatisfactory in that course, you'll have to retake the course and you'll have to pay for it. You'll have to do it the next time it's given, right? But if you keep the letter grade, the B- will go on your GPA, but at least you won't have to pay for that course again, and you won't have to take it again. So B- is important. If you're there, really think about that. If you have a very, very high GPA and your grade will lower it, so let's say your GPA is 4.0 and you're getting a B+ and you don't want to ruin your 4.0, then it may be wise to take the satisfactory, unsatisfactory, because you get an S, but it won't be factored into your GPA, and that won't bring your GPA down, right? So unless you plan on going to do additional graduate studies, so if you're planning on doing a PhD, a DRPH, you want to go to medical school or something like that, you may want to meet with an advisor, because some of these schools don't like to see satisfactory, unsatisfactory on your transcripts, and some of them actually won't accept them within certain classes. Probably not in the classes you're taking, but you just want to check if that's going to be an option for you. Just check with your academic advisor before you do that, right? If you earn an A- or an A, just take the letter grade. Very good grades, A and A-, right? If you earn less than a B-, you should probably take a U, because you're going to have to repeat the course anyway, and you're going to have to pay for the course anyway, but at least that won't bring your average down, right? It won't bring your GPA down. So those are just some of the scenarios. I tried to cover the main ones and the ones I could think of. But if you have any other scenario, or you just want some guidance on how you might want to go, contact your academic advisor. We're here to help you. If you can't get in touch with them for some reason, Brenda and I are also here to help you out. So email us for an appointment. We can do telephone. We can do video conference. But the final decision is yours to make. So we're here to guide you, to tell you what could happen, but you get to make that decision. It's up to you, whichever way you want to go. Okay. So I want to talk about the difference between dropping or withdrawing, because this question came up for the undergraduates. So there's a slight difference between dropping and withdrawing. So right now, for the winter 2020 session only, the drop deadline is April 17th. And I believe that's like the last day of classes too. It's either the 17th or the 19th, the last day of classes. You can drop one or more of your classes, right? You can drop none, but you can go in and you can drop all your classes. You don't need to petition or anything. You won't get a refund on the classes, but they won't show on your transcript. So it'll be like you never took them. Nobody ever knew that you took them, right? Withdrawing is when you drop all your classes, right? You withdraw from the whole semester, and that can be done until the last day of semester as well. But I went through the documentation, and they say it could incur a $100 fee to do that, and you'll be assigned a W for all the grades in your courses. So my suggestion, go ahead, Brenda.
Oh, about the $100 fee, and I didn't think about this prior to this, sorry, but that's okay. When you're dropping, like during the period where you can get money back, those first 10 days of the semester.
Okay, so that's why I wrote
if you withdraw, then you still charge $100.
Okay, so you won't be charged that $100, but you will be assigned a W for the grades in all classes. My suggestion is if for some reason you're deciding not to take any of your classes, I would just go in and drop them all, because it won't show up as a W. It'll just be like you just weren't there for that semester. And I think that looks better than you withdrawing for classes, especially for graduate students. I don't see any benefit to withdrawing from the semester, and I don't know if Brenda does either.
No.
Yeah, you'd probably just be better off going in and just dropping everything before April 17th. I believe it's the same day, actually. So if you know you're not going to do well in the class, or you know you have a lot of things you're going to do and you're not going to be able to do everything that you need to do to get a decent grade in the class, and you don't want the unsatisfactory or anything at all showing up on your transcript, you might be better off just going in and dropping that class. Then you don't have to worry about doing the work, right? And those are all things that you need to think about and decide. And we can help you, but you make that decision. Okay, and then
as we
go ahead.
As we talk about it and think about it more, my thoughts on it are, if you know you're not going to get the B- or higher, then if it were me, I would drop the class versus taking unsatisfactory. But if you are getting a decent grade, but you just don't want it to bring your GPA down, like Dr. Solly mentioned earlier, B+ or something, then satisfactory makes sense. And
Right.
so if you end up with unsatisfactory as what your grade would be, it makes more sense to me to drop the class, but that doesn't mean you have to.
Right. So that's what Brenda's saying is, like, if you're on the cusp and you think you could get a decent grade, then maybe it's better staying in the class. If you know you're not going to do well and it's just going to stress you out or whatever, just drop the class if you know you're getting unsatisfactory already, because then it just won't show up on your transcript, right? And we know that everyone's going through some, crazy times right now. Nobody's unaffected. So, you just got to do what you got to do. But if you need any guidance on your specific situation, your academic advisor is probably your first best bet. If not, Brenda and I are here too. Okay. So I want to just open the floor to questions about this, and then I'm going to move on to one more thing that we need to talk about. Does anybody have any questions about this grading scheme?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I'm going to move to the next thing. So we also, this is really weird. Sometimes it went, oh, there we go. We also, the administration, it's not really us, we also have a new way of doing spring and summer courses. We're going to be doing that all remotely. So I just want to go through that a little bit and talk a little bit about the APE and the ILE for those of you who are worried about that. So first of all, spring and summer, all courses will be held remotely. Nothing's going to be done on campus, right? And that includes your internship, and your ILE should not be done at some community establishment or some organization. That needs to be done preferably from your home, right? And stay home, stay safe mode. Satisfactory and unsatisfactory gradings is only for winter 2020. It will not apply to spring and summer classes, right? So that option won't be available for spring and summer, right? Courses that were scheduled to be held online will retain their original schedule. So most of them are held asynchronously, which means that you get on the computer and you work when you can, right? And you have certain deadlines, but you don't have to be there at a certain day and a certain time each week. And I believe all, if not most of our classes were already being held like that, as far as the online classes. We did have some spring and summer courses that were scheduled to be face-to-face, right? They will be scheduled online. We're not dropping any of these courses on the graduate level. We're going to keep all those courses, but they're going to go to online. We're still in the process of polling all the instructors for all the courses and finding out if they will be doing these courses asynchronously or synchronously. And more information is to come on that. We don't have all that information yet. But you will know before the deadline to drop or to even just change your classes arrives. Okay, so those are the regular courses. Brenda, do you have anything to add to that? Okay.
No, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, so as far as the APE or the internship is concerned, we had, I believe, 6 or 7 people who were supposed to be doing the internship this spring and summer. The department is still in the process of creating an alternative applied practical experience. Okay, so for those of you who need this APE in the spring to graduate in August, there'll be an alternative experience, and it will cover the competencies, but it may not be a internship as we usually imagine that. And we're still working on that. We had a meeting today. We have another meeting next week, and you'll receive additional information via email if you were scheduled to do your APE. If you weren't scheduled to do your APE, well, you won't get anything about that because it won't apply to you. Okay.
I have one comment.
Okay.
For people that are scheduled to graduate in August, we're doing the alternative APE so we don't hold you up. However, if you would rather wait until December and get a true, internship-based APE for that experience and the contacts and networking and stuff, you're welcome to do that. Just let Kendra know.
Yeah, correct. Right. So I know a lot of you are maybe a little disappointed that you won't be able to get to do a real internship. And, you can't hold off until Brenda said December, and she meant December for graduating. I'm going to say September for starting the internship.
Correct. Correct.
Hopefully in September, we'll be able to, provide internships out in the community. Right now, it's just not safe to do so. And we don't want to hold anybody back from graduating. So if that's what you want to do, you let us know, and just let Kendra know, and we'll accommodate you on that too. And we won't get mad at you. Is there a question?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. What about ILE?
That's the next one. I'm about to get on to ILE.
Okay.
Okay. Do you see the presentation up there?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We'll talk about that. And if you still have a question, and Chandramukhi, you're going to be calling me, but I just want to talk about that too. So if you were supposed to be doing your ILE this spring or summer, there are different scenarios with this too, unfortunately. If you're already working on an ILE project, that means you have a faculty advisor for that project, and you need to contact them and find out whether or how that project can still be completed. I know people at different phases, right? If you've already done everything you need to do that actually involves going out into the community and you're just writing your paper, then you shouldn't have a problem. But I know everyone's at a different point, and that's really for your faculty advisor to try to work with you on that. Maybe it can be shortened, maybe it can be done in a different way. I know I have somebody who was supposed to do focus groups. Well, they're going to try to do the focus group via Google Hangouts or something like that. So you'll need to get in contact with your faculty advisor. If you're not working on, go ahead.
No, I just said okay.
Okay, all right. If you're not working on your project yet, but you've already identified a faculty member and they already agreed to work with you on your ILE during the spring or summer semester, if it's for fall or next winter, don't worry about it. Contact that faculty advisor and find out if your project is still going to be feasible or if there's a way to change it, right, to make it feasible. And when I say feasible, I mean that you can do it remotely, right?
Right.
It's possible that can be done. It's possible that faculty advisor has something that you can do remotely that may be a little different. I don't know. But if you already identified that faculty member, the best person to contact is them, right?
Okay. Thank you.
And Chandra, that would be me.
Yeah.
If you need to complete your ILE to graduate in August, right? And so you should have already identified a faculty member if that's the case. But if you haven't, and you needed to graduate this August, right? First, contact your academic advisor and let them know. Say, I've done everything, and you have to have done your internship or be scheduled to do your internship, right? I have everything. I don't have an ILE. What do you advise? Reach out to them, right? Your academic advisor. If for some reason that doesn't work and you need to talk to somebody else, please reach out to me or Brenda, and we'll try to figure something out. We'll really be flying on the seat of our pants, but we'll work with you and try to accommodate you the best we can to find you some kind of a project. And again, I want to stress that's for the people who need that ILE so that they can graduate in August, right? Not just because they like doing it and getting ahead of the game, right? It's for people, and we'll be looking at your transcripts. You need to have you need to have everything done or have just your internship left that you're already scheduled to do in spring, for us to, run around like chickens without head and try to get you a project. For those of you who aren't planning on graduating in August, well, that's not really an issue, right? So I think we can open the floor to questions now. Any questions about any of that or any other thing that we might be able to answer? Hi, Baba. Can't hear you. So anybody have any questions? If you do, make sure you're turning your microphone on before you.
Professor Sally, I have
Yes.
a question.
Yep.
So, as far as the satisfactory and unsatisfactory grade, how is the letter grade defined? Is it by like a percentage, or it's by like whatever the professor puts it in the system?
Letter grade. So the letter grade is given by whoever the instructor is in the class.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in my class, So they should define that. Some of your professors may just leave it the way it's written on the syllabus. If you had an online class, really it shouldn't change from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
If your class is face to face, you may have gotten a revised syllabus, so it might be on there. You'd have to contact them. I know my class, I'm giving them a choice of different things, but you'd have to contact the professor for each class to find out how that grade's going to be determined, because they're just going to give you the grade you would have gotten. We're not doing anything with that grade after they give it to you. Does that answer your question, Gina?
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned because my professor's grading breakdown, or maybe like grading scale, is different from the university's grading scale. So I'm just wondering, because based on, like, let's say or her, I don't want to say the name or anything, but like based on their breakdown of the scores, like if I guess 87% in the class, I would be at B. But based on the university grading scales, I would be at B plus. So how does that differ? Because that can change the B minus and B plus.
Yep, I see where you're coming from. Well, what I can say is the professors, that as long as they let you know in advance how they're grading, they have the option to grade, on the scale that they deem is fit for that class. So, we don't have any in the administration, especially me, but the administration doesn't have any say. So as long as they're letting you know that in advance, that you know how you're being graded, right? That being said, if you have any question about it, you're certainly welcome to speak to that instructor. Unfortunately, this policy is just taken from when you get your grade on. Nobody's going to be looking into the professors on how they actually give that grade, as long as it was, told to the students in advance how that was going to be graded. So we don't have any control over that. Brad, do you have anything to add to that?
No, yeah, it's really based on the grade you earn. And like Dr. Sully said, that would only change if they changed, the assignments or something that affected your overall grade.